I forgot to unmute myself. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to, well, right before map 2 starts, game 2. My name is DKTruman and joining me on the cast is Kips. And well, we've had ourselves a couple of interesting matches and now going on towards the possibly last one of the day. Do you think this might just be a 3-mapper?
I hope not. In any other universe, our way is up exactly this this previous map, and they're gonna steamroll this series. But since we're in this universe, our way can definitely slip up, and that could still cost them a game or maybe even the series. I sure hope not, but we've seen it happen before. At the very least, this is the first time this season that they have actually won the first map instead of the middle map of the series. So good signs abound.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, draft's going to be a very important factor in that regard, so we'll be heading right into it as well. And we see the IO first pick for unknown team immediately. Okay, so IO Gyro might just be on their horizon again. Did not work out last time. A couple of different bans did come through. A Beastmaster ban is fairly surprising though.
Yeah, they seem to really lean into that, and I feel like they're almost baiting out this IO pick here. Everybody else so far has banned the IO versus unknown. They've picked it first every single time that it's been actually available. Once not. But at any rate, you know that if you leave it open, they're going to pick it, and this is now our way with a... This feels so much this patch, right? Snapfire, Tidehunter. I mean, I bet you could do the spiel about them as well, right?
Yeah, it's the armor reduction especially. It's gonna be so incredibly good, taking down Roshan in no time. Team fight is amazing. The heroes are just in general super tanky. I just add an Adusa to the mix, perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, the only drawback that I've seen with this combination once or twice is that the cooldowns are fairly long, and there is a possibility to play these, well, I guess there's the Dusa you were asking for, maybe on the other side, but there she is. It is possible to play up fast enough and dodge some of these ultimates especially, that you can sort of worm your way to if you play fast enough. But Unknown Team already had their struggles getting fast play off the floor in the last game. Of course, they were very much hindered by the fact that their carry had an abysmal lane.
10 seconds.
Medusa versus Snaptide, she should be able to farm there normally, versus Tide especially is good. But I don't think our way is going to hold anything back, and if you play up into the Medusa and you do it right, you can actually kill her.
Yeah, you get a nice cookie stun with the Tidehunter armor reduction, and you take him down pretty quickly. I do think that lately Snapfires have been going away more from the little shredder build and gone for the cookie shotgun blast build. I mean, it's nice to see a hero that actually has 2 different builds that are viable.
I know, right?
They're very rare that you see those.
Yep, it's always there's one build and that's what we do. But yeah, I especially like in Pango lanes, when the Pango used to go to Lucky Shot, the Snapfire used to grab the Shredder. But now that the Pangos are mostly Shield Crash, the Snaps have gone into Scatterblast. I wonder with the Tide, I do think that the minus armor angle here is attractive enough, especially versus the IO, for example. If you're trying to kill the IO here, you can go through the HP very fast if you actually get the armor to minus, but maybe it'll be enough with just the Tidehunter Gush alone. I don't remember IO's damage or that armor value at the moment.
I have no idea. I think it's very, very small. But
it is very low. Gush might just be enough to put you in the negative, and then they can kill with Scatterblast for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, the IO Medusa lane, I guess it's slightly more survivable than the Gyro, but we'll have to wait and see how that is going to unfold. It could also be a Snapfire 5 for all we know, or a Tidehunter 5. Hey, you never know what the Wolf team might be bringing to the table.
Duster Tide 5, that would be a new page in his chronicles for sure.
You gotta practice those plays somewhere on the screen.
True, very true. Unknown team is taking out all of the big team fight synergies, by the way. So no Invoker, no Faceless Void, and no Ursa, just to be sure, because... and I'm happy to see this finally. All of these Medusas have not been banning the Ursa. It was about dang time somebody did.
And especially with the fact that a Snapfire Tidehunter, you take Roche in 3 seconds if you've got that minus armor plus an Ursa on top. So I do expect our way, or Wolf Team. God, it's annoying that it says our way right there, but they're actually Wolf Team. That they might just get a little bit more armor reduction because, well, once you go a little bit, you might as well go all the way. SF safe lane, go.
Don't give HFN any ideas here. He'd very much like to do that. And you can see here that they have banned out a lot of the very low cooldown run at you heroes. The Lesh, the Ember, the Bloodseeker, and now Bane. That's a Duster hero right there. It's such a good setup for all of the spells of his other 2 heroes here as well.
Well, with the Bane, you do have a very good lane, solid support, but the LC is a hard counter for the Bane, of course. It cancels the Fiend's Grip, and the Skywrath Mage now picked up by Unknown Team. Combos impressively well with the LC. They might just need to find a way to save someone against the Skywrath themselves. Think OD possibly, or Shadow Demon, though I don't think they're going to go for another support on the side of Wolf Team.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, so the OD is an option. Stealing Medusa's mana works out as pretty neat damage against her as well. Although, of course, your mana difference isn't going to be very great, so it's... OD used to be a lot better versus Dusa than it is right now, I think.
Yeah, that is kind of the very big downside. They do have last pick on Wolf Team, so they can choose to go for that one last. But I assume, considering they already know what their opponents, what the safe laners' opponents are going to be, it's definitely going to be the LC Skywrath. So you can always choose a laner that's pretty decent against that. So I would assume they're going to go for mid last picks.
And I'm a little bit sad about Unknown Team here. I thought, well, you can always, as soon as that LC pick came out, I was like, okay, you can run the IO LC together, and then you can run a little bit of a stronger lane together with the Medusa, something that's not just sitting back and sustaining her, but like can actively stun to keep people off of her. But with the Skywrath pick, unfortunately, it looks like the IO Medusa are going to be on the same lane. Very defenseless in that regard. But LC Sky is a strong pressure lane. Our way is going to have to think about how they want to handle that on the safe lane.
Monkey
and
King.
think about that they have.
Oh, back to the Monkey King they go. Yeah, okay, it's okay. I mean, the Bane's plus is the fact that you can Nightmare save the Monkey King in dire situations against the Skywrath. He's probably gonna... Is he gonna go Battle Fury again? He's probably gonna go Battle Fury again.
Honestly, if he views the game as the same as before, which is I gotta keep up with the Medusa, again, you don't have to. You can go Echo Saber Diffusal versus a Medusa and play this fast, but I just don't think that that's HFN's style. So we are going to probably see him go Battle Fury, and with a Bane, I think it is very hard for Unknown Team to properly kill him. You can always dodge Skywrath damage, you can always put one of them in their place for a while.
It's Radiant's ban now.
That's... And Bane is just so strong right now as well. Like he's going to soak up so much of that Skywrath Mage's damage if the Skywrath doesn't fully focus down the Monkey King.
The only big downside for Unknown Team is the fact that their team fight is... I mean, they've got great pick off with the Legion Commander Skywrath, the relocate TP in to get a quick kill. But their team fight's very lackluster because they got barely any control whatsoever. You did previously mention it about the Skywrath Mage not bringing anything like a stunner or a playmaker to the table. And yeah, compared to, for instance, Tidehunter with the Ravage, that's already a team fight ulti that just completely destroys Unknown if they're put in a tough spot.
10 seconds.
And they banned out the puck themselves here.
Dire's
So
turn
yeah,
to pick.
What?
Breaker. Oh, okay.
That's a hero.
Someone didn't
That
call
is a
the
hero
biggest
in the game of
offer.
Dota 2, but no matter who goes mid now, that's going to be a melee matchup. You could actually very
10
much
seconds.
pick another melee. You could pick a Razor here, make everybody
5
unknown
seconds left.
really very sad.
100% Skywrath mid. Let's go. I believe.
I'd respect the hell out of that.
Or the surprise IO core.
Ooh.
Spear Breaker 5. IO
That's
mid.
some 5-head stuff. And then there's the Quap. She also makes melees very sad.
Who wins against the Skywrath Quap? Who wins that?
Skywrath Quap? I mean, I think it used to be much more Skywrath favored because it was just spam back and forth, but now that the dagger also gives the Quap regen, she is definitely harder to trade with. And then of course, after the laning stage is over, it really depends on who has division advantage, which is not really up to either of these heroes.
Well, it does look to be the Spirit Breaker mid though. So,
Ouch.
I mean, it's still pretty cool. You don't get to see that many Spirit Breaker mids anymore. Since Dobson's gone.
Since Zhao 8 has moved back to the coaching role, I think is what you mean.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, there's just some people that bring something extra special to the game. Those specific, because there's always that, big spread in what people are willing to play in certain roles, and they're just those outliers on the side that always, like Iceberg, who brings in the silencer pudge mid. Dendy does the same weird mid picks. You've got some strange offlaners and such. Always fun to see those join in instead of just pure basic default Dota.
Yeah, I really loved working with Undershock because we could actually we could put him on a Viper side lane, but we could also put him on a Jakiro or even a Shadow Demon mid. It didn't always work out, but it felt very, very good to be able to pull that out as a team. And Sol here, yeah, he's choosing the full Rambo option. I don't think he's going to have a particular good time versus a Quap. I guess the only benefit that he has here is that this Quap most likely isn't going to go full on the offense against him, because in the end you have to max your Scream in order to keep on farming. We don't see dagger matching Quaps anymore, ever.
My patience is ready.
Especially if Spirit Breaker gets like a point and bulldoze, you can get rid of most of it with a quick status resistance reduction. But that's only if that is the case. I would assume he's just gonna max level great to bat. I actually don't know. I'm saying I assume, but I have no idea what mid Spirit Breaker actually runs.
I've seen in skill builds it's been basically bash and charge. You want the charge max to start farming with it as fast as possible, and sometimes you rush a Shadow Blade, sometimes people go into the Aghanim Scepter instead, which takes a little bit longer. I've mostly seen that from like carry Spirit Breakers. Incredibly enough.
How many carry Spirit Breakers have you seen?
I think 2, but if just the fact that it happens twice is pretty weird still.
Yes. I mean, that's the beauty of Dota. I talked about it with Wingblade recently, about the fact that this game is so incredibly old. And who would have thought that a Shadow Fiend that doesn't level raise until level 19 actually does something?
When the horn blows, the blood flows.
It's the beauty of the game. Everything is possible. You just believe hard enough. And also do a lot of, like, simulation craft.
True. Well, I'm going to learn something here about the Spirit Breaker versus Quap matchup, and he's already got the bash ready to slap her around.
Who's gonna do the slapping? Actually, Quap went for the Scream of Pain, so she doesn't really do necessarily that much against Spirit Breaker, who is a beefy boy, 5 armor, decent amount of HP as well.
And this is really, the stream is just to secure the last hits with here, because of course the Spirit Breaker, nearly 10 damage up over.
And the danger is actually Quap can't like blink to the side to get a water rune. Because if he blinks, he gets charged and then you just die.
True, she needs to be very aware of where the Spirit Breaker's vision is at the very least.
Just a wonderful hero. That stupid sound the entire time. Every time he charges. Moo. Yeah, the old moo.
Courier is dead. I wonder
Nice
what
King
idiot
RD
got
snipe.
it.
Went for the little shredder build. Okay. Minus armor as
Nice.
well with the Blightstone. So trying to at least do a lot of damage. Dusted top, dropping low. Moonlight not going to go further on the aggression because HVent is zoning him out.
Your buttons, please. Nothing will explode.
Moonlight 2 with only the single salve that he brought in, presumably after the laning stage has already started. It's maxing out the damage on that arcane bolt.
Lose together, win together,
Slay together, slay together, slay together.
Guys, just press your buttons, please. Nothing will explode.
That one is weird.
I bet it's a translation of something a player said in a pub once. Like, but in a cutesy voice. Just very much has that just press buttons, guys kind of energy.
I mean, the one from, I think, last season, I don't know if it's, I didn't check all the voice lines this season, but the one from Arkosh with Omewa Shinderu, only then the very cute female voice, that one was great.
That's pretty great. I actually love one of the lines out of the battle pass right now. Isn't it magical, Papa? That one, I wasn't planning on buying a battle pass, but ooh man.
Yeah, I bought the battle pass as always, you know, just the default. I'm gonna walk through it at the last day. Maybe if I'm like a couple of levels away, I might consider buying some levels. But I just want to see how far I can get. And my friends are all like, "Why didn't you just buy 350 levels immediately?" Dude, that's like $100. It's a free game.
Yeah.
Come on.
Just contribute what you can to Gaben's New Zealand mansion fund.
Well, if TI's there, sure. So I do like the fact that they at least add some content midway through. I'm still waiting for the... There still has to be a big patch somewhere along the lines, right? Maybe between after the first major, I guess.
Guys, just press your buttons.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nothing will explode.
Because I'm waiting for like the outpost to vanish again and some random new stuff gets added in.
We're definitely overdue on some map changes.
Oh, Moonlight gets nightmared, bound the strike, and that is going to be first blood for HFN.
You've just achieved first blood.
Oh, I also am using the Gabe Newell announcer, so yeah. You always hear his beautiful, deep voice.
He does have a pretty nice voice.
He is our Lord and Savior.
Just keeping an eye on this poor Tidehunter here.
Courier has been killed.
Really struggling versus Deuce, and it's not going to get any better either as soon as she hits level 3.
Oh, turn around. King RD going for the IO. Trying to get the kill. Tavo walking back in. Doesn't actually have a point in Gush. Instead, wants to get himself some Kraken Shell charges, which does make you a decent amount more tanky. Let's get rid of a lot of the kill potential, though.
Yep. The only thing that doesn't help you with is the dang snake. That one's gonna continue to hurt. He's got King RD's salve on it, but he can't actually use it. He needs King RD to pop it on him.
Oof. That is, this Davos, I mean, he's actually having a pretty decent amount of farm. It's just still a scary lane to play.
He's going to have his Ring of Health, pretty much right now. And that's going to ease things up a lot for him. I'm wondering if he wants to go a hood this game again, play that big frontliner, or if he's gonna do Meteor Hammer Tide.
Spent much time near the ocean.
Okay, that Medusa taunt is weird. I just saw it for the first time, and it's just straight up weird.
All of the statues.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, there's some that are amazing. For instance, the Spear Breakers one is amazing. Speaking of which, 4DR did the exact same thing that he probably should not have done.
Yep.
And that is blink on top of the rune to pick it up. That is a death sentence against the Spirit Breaker.
Nothing will explode.
Maybe it's survivable if both of the supports are off in the side lanes, but this Skywrath mage, he's just stacking here, man.
Just waiting in the side, trying to get those stacks going for the Medusa, who is of course a very big stack farmer. On the other side, it depends on if it's going to be a Battle Fury Monkey King, so it takes quite a decent amount of time before he can actually take stacks onto HFN.
Very much depending on what he goes. Well, I'm watching him for that Battle Fury. Pretty sure he's gonna do it.
I mean, do you want to take this game late? No, I don't think you do.
No, but he didn't need to do so last time either.
True, but I think I'm a lot more scared for Medusa
Setup?
late game. Ooh, really caught out again. HFN's actually having a pretty good lane, but yeah, I think Medusa is a lot scarier late game than a Gyrocopter. And 4DR has to be very careful in that mid lane. Because the Spirit Breaker is pretty scary, even though 4DR does have more farm even with that death.
Yeah, only just about. It's mostly been side camp creeps, I think. Which the Spirit Breaker can't farm as easily. Yeah, 4DR learned his lesson, but he's still getting caught.
Oh, the Nether strike up the high ground. That is unfortunate. 4DR dropping low, taken down. Kill secured, but Duster and King RD coming in for the kill onto the IO. Does have a tether. Can he get the tether going? Oh, gets himself taken down in the end.
Minus armor, man.
It is pretty nasty. So is HFN on his domination in that top lane.
But he does not have a comfortable mid laner to lean back on this time. 4DR, you want to snowball on Quap. Previously when she wasn't as good of a farmer as she is now, your game used to already be over when you had 2 deaths on Quap. She got her 2 deaths in the laning stage before minute 7.
HFN top lane though, a 4-man rotation to kill him. He almost takes down Moonlight before he drops. No TPs from, which is very surprising that no TPs came in from the side of Wolf team. They tried to rotate to help out, but yeah, the Quap didn't have a TP. Tide did, but he just got himself the Soul Ring because it was still in flight, so that's the reason he didn't TP yet. Otherwise, he could have blown a Ravage, and I think they would have won that team fight big time.
Well, they might still. They're going again.
Really, he's a fast boy, but the Boundless Strike will hold him in place. And HFN, let's get, of course, that kill on top. Gonna try and recuperate slightly. Look at these nice creep camp stacks, though. For the Radiant side, it is gonna get spotted out, I think. Oh, they're in trouble. Big mad cow coming in. King RD, no way to escape.
They weren't a bed.
Guys, push your buttons, please.
HFN really wants those stacks though. It might actually be too big for him to take right now, but he is level 7.
He doesn't have max level 3 dance, so taking stacks is very slow for the Monkey King.
Yep. Unfortunately, they might have to bring Tavo, who's getting a free tower here on bot right now, by the way. He's having a grand old time. The Medusa decided to leave him to his devices.
definitely nicely recuperated. I mean, he is ahead of the Medusa in farm right now, even though it looked disastrous previously. And he got himself a free tower. This is not the greatest showing for Team Unknown, but the Deuce is going to go for the sacks. Try and get those farmed with the IO's help. However, smoked up is Wolf Team coming in right from behind. Argius getting Cookie stunned up. Sonic Wave only hits the one though, but the Medusa trying to run away. Wukong Suman is down. I can't see the outside of the ring. It's still up, but I can't see it.
That's weird.
Yeah, this is another one of those moments where I just have no idea what... Okay, so that's where the circle was. It just turned invisible for me.
Oh, Tavo's here.
Hello, Ravage. Go. No?
He doesn't have to. He's too scary.
Finally, there we get the Ravage. Get the big smackdown. Io's gonna die back. Soul wants to charge up. Nice. Get rid of the Nightmare charging into Dust Age. If I get stunned on the side, pushed back. Still trying to get himself a kill secured, but the rest of his team is gone, and HFN healing salved up, chasing for the Spirit Breaker. They actually win this fight pretty heavily on the side of Wolf Team.
And now trying again. The stacks are still not gone, and Medusa went back in.
That's a big ouch, because that's all the stacks to be continued to farm. I mean, if the Monkey King isn't great at farming them, the Tide Hunter is.
Yep, and that's exactly what I thought when I saw him hold the Ravage. Like, alright, as long as he holds the Ravage, he can actually take this triangle and take all of the creeps that he wants. But you know what? If you kill the Medusa, then you can still do so. Level 6 on the Skywrath. Tavo.
No
this
fear.
is dangerous.
3 levels in Kraken Shell is just not taking damage. Even as 16 magic wand charge. Argia Sonic Wave dropping low, but they managed to get the kill. Chasing from 40R, looking for more. Big charge from Soul. 40R, Nether Strike sends him back. The duel comes out. Might be the first duel victory, and yes indeed, King RD does not have anything except for the little shred. Tavo is still not taking any damage.
No. But he's also not really dealing all that much.
And
what a scramble.
Yeah, he just walks away. He just soaked like a solid 4k of damage there.
Easily.
He did a fight recap. 1 death, and Tide did 3.3k damage.
But they couldn't really focus anyone down after the burst from the Quap was gone. And HFN had already retreated to top. It's like, guys, I have creeps to farm. Whatever. You can go do whatever you want in mid, but I'm gone.
You went for that Maelstrom. So, still a little bit more farmy, but not as farmy as Battle Fury. Which is probably for the better.
Yep. Now looking to use the first Fiend's Grip here.
And the only one that can save you from that scenario is miles away. Kill picked up. HFN, his 4th kill of the game. That's a Maelstrom finish, which is a pretty decent timing. Tavo is going to go for the immediate Heaven's Halberd. Not a blink or any of those shenanigans. Just walk in the fight. Add evasion to yourself. Extra regen. Plus disarm the Medusa. No way they're going to kill this Tide.
Absolutely. Once again, aiming to just be the giant walking frontline monster. 40R Bales again.
A Duster, of course. Sad little Bane. Tries to get some warding going. Caught off guard. And an easy pick with a Mystic Flare. Not much you can do there. Tavo, in the meantime, he's got full reign of the unknown team's jungle. Like, it's all his domain.
Absolutely incredible. Nobody has any vision here either. He's just sitting in the dark, knowing that even if they come for him, they can most likely not kill him unless they bring at least 3 heroes. Well, there are 3 heroes coming his way right now. Sorta, maybe? No? Not yet.
I mean, Spirit Breaker's gonna need that shard for that break later on. That's like such a big plus about the Spirit Breaker. One of the only heroes that still has a break.
Radiant fortified structures. Pretty good move if you ask me.
I miss Nyx Assassin having a break.
Maybe its middle tower is under attack.
I mean, it's now basically
Its middle tower has
Spirit
fallen.
Breaker for our good friend Hoodwink or Bust. You gotta buy it.
Doom Ags, I think, also breaks.
Yeah, Doom Axe breaks. There is also Shadow Shaman Talent that gives break on
Really?
your Hex. Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty sick.
Dire's top tower is about to be Radiant's
But
top rubble.
not a lot of people playing Shadow Shaman right now.
Yeah, they made the cast range absolutely dreadful on the hero. Attack range is terrible, cast range is terrible. Right now,
Man,
Tavo is absolutely terrible for unknown team.
I was about to say, we're just watching the same game, aren't we? It's the same game as before. Tavo sits on top of their tier 2 mid. It's like, hello,
Radiant's
come do
bottom
something
tower
about
needs a
me.
hand.
Now farming top, making sure the tier 1 doesn't drop. And then he can push that all the way forward and then not care about that anymore. While his team is
There's a
being
charge on the
charged though.
Quap.
That's a 3-man stun by the Spirit Breaker. Another strike. In comes the relocate play as well. Oh, the duel onto the Quap. However, the Legion Commander is losing his life. He gets taken down. The Quap gets the kill. Actually, a double. And right now, that is a little bit of a mistaken fight. Because Soli's trying to charge away. Oh, the ball of death coming in. Gets the kill. That's 4 for 0 trade. And while all of that is going on, Tavo is stealing away the Ancient Stack.
Oh, I love seeing the Nightmare during the duel. It's so funny.
It just keeps hopping back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Yep. And most of their damage was already expended at that point. From the side of Unknown. This Legion Commander is going for a Blink Dagger as well. I'm not sure if you should at this point. Like, you've been having a good time walking in. You might actually want to think about that armlet still.
It's kind of surprising that he didn't start building it in the laning stage, because it does make you so much more tanky. Though you are laning, you were laning against the Monkey King, which, granted, you know, it doesn't really help you stay alive in that lane.
Nothing does.
It's all coming.
Greedy is very poor right now.
Oh, Roshan, minus armor, there we go.
Full crest on the Snapfire as well. Why not? Look at this poor man.
The only one not there is the one that should actually pick it up.
Does he though? Like, I'm thinking that's gonna go to 40R.
Dire's middle tower
I
looks to be
assume right now,
disintegrating.
yes, Duster. Can't reach it. HFM went a little bit too soon. Before Duster could get the Nightmare and lock him in.
See you soon.
Give Tavo the high five. Come on. Charge forward. Silence onto 40R. Does a lot of right click damage. Do salty. Wasted. There we have HFN. They don't really have
Ladder
much to fear.
jumping.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Quelling Blade. Argius. Body blocks by 40R. Oh my god. They're bringing out all the books. Playbook plays. Oh, the relocate save coming in. Big
Dire's top tower
move
is
from the IO. That is a lifesaver, and honestly, could be otherwise the biggest problem on the side of Unknown team. Because the Dusa can't die. They're 10k behind Kips.
I have been trying to not look at that net worth difference, but it's getting unignorable, isn't it?
And,
Absolutely brutal.
I mean,
Dire's structures
you wouldn't
are
even realize that
fortified.
this is a mid Spirit
Dire's
Breaker.
bottom tower is under attack.
No, you would not, and especially not one that has won his lane, but he has gotten so few rotations done afterwards that really led to anything. The couple where he actually connected with the charge have gotten punished really hard.
Radiant's middle tower
And
is
40R has
feeling the
completely recovered.
He has been part of all 7 kills on their team. You know, the downside is that they only have 7 kills on their team.
Yep.
Jump in, and a nice little quick catch onto Moonlight.
love. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
For other teams, that doesn't have to be as big of a problem, but with a Skywrath Mage, Legion Commander, Spirit Breaker,
You expect a bit more in that case. Nightmare! No dual victory damage coming in. They will lose Duster probably, go. Actually, Duster will even die. Soul is on the chase, but Duster's too fast. Soul gets slowed down, charges to the other side. Big Sonic Wave onto 2. Argus out of mana, out of HP, and Greedy is another one that will be left to his own devices because Bada's on the other side of the map with his charge.
Peace. Peace out. Great shot calling there by Wolf Team, realizing that there's absolutely no need for them to put anything more into this Bara than strictly necessary. They can just go after that Medusa, especially after the IO gets wasted like that.
Middle tower's under attack. Highest bottom tower's getting pushed around.
12 Kane with lead in 19 minutes time. That is definitely reaching the insurmountable heights. Quickly gonna see what our Lord and Savior Gaben says. 89%, still giving him 11%. Okay. I mean, it is a Medusa.
Exactly, he really likes the Deuces and Spectres of this world. But yeah, at this point she only has a Manta style. And she's looking to buy a crit on top of that. Trying to get any damage scraped together that she possibly can. I completely agree with this decision. She has to do something. Because the rest of her team... The fights are pretty long, but the rest of her team can't actually seem to finish anybody off. Somebody needs to bring the damage, and I guess it's gonna be her.
LC level 10, Dusa level 12. On the other side though, Gustavo level 15. Gustavo's just a beast, I mean...
He is. 2 games in a row. I think most of their team dynamic right now hinges on Tavo being too big to kill. And they've been playing it out very well.
Ooh, HFN gets a 2-man stun. Arceus in trouble. Wukongs goes down. Ravage is blown. Make sure the Dusa dies. Who cares about your Stone Gaze if you die before it goes off? So the relocate safe to keep at least the LC alive will of course cost the IO his, because there's nothing to tether to in the vicinity.
Unfortunately not. Well, they have bought enough time for this Spirit Breaker to get his Black Kimpar, but right now, if he doesn't use it, he might just die.
Might still die. Charging away, chased by 40R Sonic Wave. Ooh, just barely manages to get himself away. Moonlight's not going to be so lucky though. 40R also bought the Shard, which is also still one of like the strongest shards in the game.
Yep. Silence is great, but it's also extra farming speed, which is one of the reasons why you see these co-ops these days stick at the top of the net worth even after the space where normally they would have fallen off already.
Oh, the IO gonna get caught. Doesn't have a tether available. Another easy pickings. And it's really just waiting for the inevitable push of death. Like,
well, I think we're there.
Yeah. I mean, they've played with their food long enough.
Medusa bought Dragonlance. No damage. A little bit of damage, I guess. Mostly stats.
Charge coming in, but the Nightmare keeps Soul away. Another strike. Wukongs though, they all walk right into it. There's the duel from the Monkey. Actually gets completely Mystic Flared, and that's HFN dead. That's a big kill. Alpha doesn't have a Ravage available. They do lose 3 still on the Radiant side, and yeah, the only one left is Arceus on the high ground. It actually started off really well for Unknown Team, but they're just too far behind.
Correctly recognizing that if the Nightmare is down, the duel can actually come off uninterrupted, especially when Duster is so far back and Fiend gripping the Spirit Breaker. So the hero that normally interrupted those duels and made them impossible, not available, and well, they're just calling it. They're like, you know what? Kill is everything we're gonna get.
Well, that of course does mean that Wolf Team definitely still have a chance to survive in, of course, the South America DPC Division 2. They still have a lot of tough challenges ahead because there is one of the top teams, well, actually the top of the board that is still a team that they need to contest to, and that is Infinity with the aptly, crazily named mid PP. I still love that guy, but he is really good.
Great name. But yeah, this looks like they're on their way to maintaining. Of course, it would have been an absolute disaster if they bombed out, and Unknown Team here was sort of the absolute bottom rung of the ladder. If you don't step on these guys, you might as well disband. Luckily, they didn't. This looked more like the style in which we want to see this team play. Big ups to Tavo, especially. I think he recognized the style that works for him during the game with the Timbersaw, and he says, guys, I can do this again. I can just plant myself in the mid lane with like 2 cheap tank items, and they're just all gonna focus me, and we can go have a laugh. And it's working out for them perfectly. And I think this strategy could carry them to a fair few more wins, because it is very hard to deal with an offlaner who just stands in your face and constricts all of your farming space. So, you know, first steps have been made.
These are the small steps that they need to achieve to at least get themselves to a decent standing. I mean, there's still a possible chance that you could maybe make it to a 4-3 playoffs kind of scenario, but that's, you know, you're really reliant on everyone else pretty much tying their series or making sure that, you know, they trade against each other. But this IO, he did 18 less damage than last game. So now he did 1,841 damage.
Yeah. I much prefer the way that Entity plays this IO, where you get an IO on you take an IO duo at the start, but you don't actually play the IO on the lane. So you didn't pick your entire lane in the first phase, and I think that's just one of the things that's really getting Unknown punished right now. And yeah, if this is the hero that they snap pick every single time, oh, IO, gotta have it, and then he deals this much damage, has this much input in a game, I think you might want to diversify your strategies a bit.
Yep, that was, I mean, right now, my thought would be, why would you ban IO against Unknown? Like, both these games, it just wasn't really that much impact. I mean, there were some nice relocates, but it just didn't melt together. And to be fair, the Wolf team actually bring their A game. They're a very terrifying team to face up against. And finally, for the first time, we did manage to see a little bit of that spark that got them towards TI. But of course, that concludes the series, and that means 2 best of 3s both ended in a 2-0 fashion, and honestly both kind of very one-sided in that regard. So, well, that is it for today. Kips, do you have any parting words for the viewers at home?
I'm seeing a lot of double blink daggers recently. I know in your pubs everybody's going greedy, but do check if somebody else is going to blink dagger and if you're going to have the damage to follow up, alright?
Well, you heard it there. Magic words from Kips. Have a wonderful day. And in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.